Hello and welcome to my talk on circulatory systems and cephalopods. I'll be comparing three different cephalopods during this talk. They will be the cuttlefish, the squid, and the octopus. Alright, so first I'd like to go over the two different types of circulatory systems, open and closed, and how this relates to cephalopods. In an open circulatory system, blood flows directly into tissues to exchange molecules and is a slow process that does not allow for much specificity. This type of system is found in arthropods and other mollusks. In the other system, a closed circulatory system, capillaries are where exchange occurs, and this system allows for a greater degree of regulation. This is the type of system cephalopods have, and the reason they diverged from other mollusks is believed to be because they are active organisms, and a closed circulatory system allows for fast metabolic processes. Another reason could be they were in constant competition with fish, and fish also have a closed circulatory system. Despite having a closed circulatory system like me or you, cephalopods are different in that they have accessory hearts. In total, cephalopods have three hearts: one systemic heart that pumps blood throughout the body and functions as a central heart, and two branchial hearts which collects oxygen from the gills and pumps blood to the systemic heart. Having multiple hearts boosts blood flow to the gills, which is important for oxygen absorption. All cephalopods have hemocyanin as their oxygen carrier. This makes their blood blue and functions as a complex similar to hemoglobin. Hemocyanin has a lower oxygen binding capacity when compared to hemoglobin, and it is a limiting factor of oxygen delivery in cephalopods. Because of this, cephalopods are required to release a majority of bound oxygen to their capillaries and get as much oxygen as they can into their tissues. If you look at the picture, you can see the two different complexes. The 8 functional unit complex is the one found in cephalopods. So, all cephalopods have three hearts, all have a closed circulatory system, and all have hemocyanin. I should also mention now that all cephalopods have a mantle, which is a muscular cavity that generates a continuous low pressure of water to ventilate gills. This supports animals that are resting or hovering, animals that are moving for long periods of time, or when they need to make quick escapes. The differences between cephalopods in their circulatory systems arise from different mantle musculatures, the percentage of oxygen released to their tissues, and their method of movement. Compared to other cephalopods, cuttlefish are more sedentary. They move by hovering or swimming in place. Because they are not exerting a lot of energy in order to move, they are very efficient in utilizing the amount of oxygen absorbed. 80% of oxygen absorbed is used for exchange, which is much better than in squid, which we'll see in a minute. Because of their more relaxed lifestyle, their mantle is less muscular than squid and is not well equipped for sustained travel. Cuttlefish have contractile veins, which was first visualized using ultrasound. These veins contract at different rates, which could cause blood flow problems, but blood flow is maintained toward the heart by the Wells valve. Cuttlefish also have their ventilatory pump and locomotory pump separated, so the same stream of water that cuttlefish use to move is not the same stream of water that they absorb oxygen from. Squid are cephalopods that travel long distances, and like the other cephalopods, are capable of quick jetting movements. Unlike cuttlefish or octopods, squid have their jet locomotion and blood circulation systems separated. Because of this, respiration and locomotion are coupled, and gill ventilation is done by mantle pumping. This concept is true for all of the more active cephalopods. Squid only utilize 5 to 10% of oxygen absorbed because they respire oxygen from the same stream of water that also fuels swimming movements. A small amount of oxygen is acquired through their skin, and the rest is acquired through their gills. This amount was believed to be higher because it also occurs in octopods, but the reason for this difference is that octopods are just larger than squid. They tend to be. Squid have a higher amount of mantle muscle, which requires squid to have their hearts pump at very high rates, which reach those of a human athlete. Octopods have a different method of movement than squid or cuttlefish. They use their arms to walk or maneuver slowly around. This connects to their circulatory systems, as because of their larger size and the fact that a larger proportion of their bodies is in their arms compared to squid or cuttlefish, the octopus mantle has less muscle. This is because of their form of movement and that more blood needs to flow back from the arms to the heart. If the octopus had a high mantle pressure like squid do, it could prevent blood flow from the arms to return to the heart. Again, they are slow-moving animals and, like cuttlefish, have their locomotor and circulatory pumps separate. This seems to be the case for the slower cephalopods. When they need to escape, blood flow is interrupted during jet escapes, making this process entirely anaerobic. Because blood flow is interrupted, this is not a viable method of sustained travel like in squid. Unlike squid, a larger amount of oxygen is obtained cutaneously. This is about 13% of oxygen absorbed. One more difference I'd like to highlight is this adaptation of quick escapes that cephalopods have. Like I previously mentioned, cephalopods can move very quickly to escape predators. This is known as jet propulsion. This type of movement is entirely anaerobic, as blood flow is stopped in order to move this quickly. Blood flow being regulated like this is important, as if it wasn't, a pressure gradient that is too large would be generated by the mantle. Control over blood flow could be lost due to this. The temporary interruption of blood flow is done by an accessory organ. This is known as the high pressure cutoff valve, which prevents rapid blood movement when this is happening. This organ is more muscular and more organized in squid than in cuttlefish. Octopods do not have this organ, but can still use jet propulsion. Here's a figure I made to illustrate the high pressure cutoff valve. The left would be the contracting mantle tissue, and the right side would be the vessels within the mantle cavity. As I've tried to illustrate, the valve is innervated with nerves connected to the mantle muscle, linking this valve's function to contractions of the mantle during a jet escape. And once again, squid would have a more developed version of this valve than cuttlefish, and octopods just do not have it, but they are still capable of jet escape by some other method. Cephalopods, despite their strange circulatory system when compared to ours, can be used as a model for studying a closed circulatory system. Personally, I'd be interested in studying heart problems associated with cephalopods. Additionally, I think behavior in relation to circulatory system intricacies is another area of interest, especially when looking at more specific or strange cases, such as the big fin squid pictured in the GIF. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to any questions you might have.